So I just want to introduce myself. I am Krishnamurthy, and I have done my engineering, and I also have done my business studies from IIM Lucknow, and I am currently pursuing acupressure as my passion, and I am also a student like all of you. So I am a 7th semester student in ASPES. Slightly, I think many of you are practicing and studying acupressure in different ways. So I am also one of you, but probably a little bit ahead of you. That's it. Okay. Okay, so we will start with this, the classes, and the purpose of this is to make you understand the fundamentals well. आपको fundamentals के ऊपर अच्छी पकड़ आना चाहिए, वो इसका उद्देश्य है. This is not to teach or this is not to make you an expert in diagnosis or any form of treatment, etc. Okay. What I am teaching now is only to kind of make you understand the fundamentals of TCM, have a good grip of TCM. Okay. Because without this good grip, if you start going ahead in diagnosis, you will find lot of difficulty. Fundamentals को अच्छी तरह से grip, बिना अच्छी grip के अगर आप आगे diagnosis वगैरह में जाएंगे तो काफी दिक्कत आएगी. तो इसलिए फंडामेंटल्स को अच्छी तरह से कूट कूट के अंदर डालना है, और यही इस सेशन की क्लासेस की उद्देश्य है. ठीक है. एंड यू विल हैव प्लेंटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस. सो एंड आई एनकरेज ऑल ऑफ यू टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस. देयर इज nothing called silly question. Okay, every question is a valid question. So if you don't understand anything, कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बहुत खुला छूट है, आपको जितनी मर्जी चाहिए आप क्वेश्चन पूछे. और मुझे अच्छा लगता है जितना क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, मुझे अच्छा लगता है, क्योंकि मुझे समझ में आता है कि आप समझ रहे हैं. अगर if you don't ask any questions, it means that I'll be in doubt, telling that if you are understanding or not understanding. But the more you ask questions, it is always good. Okay. So with this, we will get into the subject. So this traditional Chinese medicine. So this was more than 1500 years back. Okay, it was invented. Different people give different dates. Okay. And some people also, different people tell the places where it got originated. There may be some differences. But it is quite an ancient methodology of understanding a disease and treating a disease. Okay. 1500 साल पहले का ये फिलॉसफी है, जिसको उस टाइम पे उन्होंने इन्वेंट किया. ओके, चाइनीज वालों ने. एंड हाउ डिड दे, व्हाट वाज द बेसिस ऑफ इन्वेंटिंग दिस ट्रेडिशनल चाइनीज मेडिसिन फिलॉसफी? सो इट वाज डीप ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ नेचर. प्रकृति को देखते थे, बहुत गहराई से उसको ऑब्जर्व करते थे. And they had intuitive mind. What is intuition? Intuition is, say, what logic is sequential. Step 1, then from step 1 to step 2, 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will go sequentially. But what is intuition? Intuition is kind of, just give me. So this is logic 1, to, from step 1, you go to step 2, then from step 2, you go to step 3, and then from there you go to step 4, from there you go to step 5. So if you don't have a connection, so imagine you did not understand step 3. Then without understanding step 3, you will not be able to go to step 4, right? This is a sequential way, logical way of seeing. But what this people intuition is, so you are here at step 1 and directly you will be able to go to the last step. You can bypass all these 2, 3, 4, and you can directly go to 5. Somehow you know that this is right. And even that intuition has a logic, but that logic is of a different kind, right? So this is more of a wisdom, a very wise way of thinking. Okay, so this intuition leads them to come up with these philosophies. Okay, and when we have to think about TCM, when we have to study TCM, our mind should also have this kind of intuitive ability to some extent. Okay, if not 100%, at least 10%, 5%, 20% of this intuitive ability. Okay, so then we will be able to grasp the subject well. If our mind is all sequential, okay, we will find it difficult to grasp every aspect of it, right? So we will try to find the logic. We will try to find some explanations for what they have told, but you have to keep in mind, or you have to develop a mindset of these Chinese philosophers who invented those TCM. Okay, and this was ancient, and we will try to understand how they came up with these logics. What was the basis? If you currently, we have all kinds of sophisticated gadgets. के बहुत सारे वैज्ञानिक उपकरण हैं हमारे पास, मगर उन लोगों के पास हजारों साल पहले कुछ नहीं था कि they did not have any kind of modern diagnostic tools to understand the body, right? So अभी हमको कुछ चाहिए तो ब्लड टेस्ट करवा देंगे, MRI करा देंगे, CT स्कैन करा देंगे, एक्सरे करा देंगे, कुछ ना कुछ करा देंगे. But these people did not have anything, zero. So then how would they do the diagnosis? Right? Agar, say, if you have, somebody says, okay, I have this kind of problem. No, I am getting giddiness every now and then, all those things. So what will the doctor say? Okay, you do a MRI of the brain. So we will see what is happening inside the brain. All right. So there is an option to the present day doctors to see what is happening inside. Okay, you do this blood test. Now imagine 2000 years back or 1000 years back, somebody says, I have vertigo. चक्कर आ रहा है सर, चक्कर आ रहा है. 1000 पहले कोई डॉक्टर के पास जाके बताएगा. तो how would the doctor do the diagnosis? कैसे डायग्नाइज करेंगे वो डॉक्टर? क्या उनके अंदर होनी चाहिए क्षमता कि वो उस डिजीज को पहचान सके? Right? So does it make you wonder, like, does it fascinate you how they were able to come up with those understanding? If there was some hemorrhage or some kind of slip disc or anything, some nerve problem, in any of those issues, how were they able to diagnose? Does it fascinate you all?
Yes, sir.
Achha. So it is a very, very beautiful way of trying to see a problem and understanding the problem. So I will try to give you a my way of seeing their seeing. Okay. So how I perceive, probably how they did it. So I'll try to give you an example and try to make you understand. And so that your line of thinking should also be in the same way. If you have to have a good grip of TCM, अगर आप एक अच्छा TCM की थेरेपिस्ट बनना चाहते हैं, if you want to become a good therapist, then you should develop this mindset. तो क्या mindset है? So we will discuss that. So we will take an example of a sugarcane crusher. ये सब you would have seen on the roadsides. रोड के साइड में देखेंगे ना, वो गन्ने का जूस बनाने वाला मशीन. तो क्या करता है? ये मशीन है. So and this machine has one input. गन्ना अंदर जाता है. So the sugarcane goes in, and there is output of the machine. And what is the output of that machine? It is sugarcane juice is one byproduct, and the whatever is the fibrous thing, that is the other byproduct. Or we can say this is the product and this is the byproduct, right? So there is one. So there is a machine, and into that machine there is one input and one or multiple output. Okay. So एक machine है, उसके अंदर एक चीज अंदर input जाता है, एक या उससे ज्यादा output आता है. So this we understood. Imagine for time being that this machine is a black box. उसका अंदर का mechanism आपको पता नहीं है. So you don't understand the mechanism of that machine. But what you can see is that some input is going and some output is coming. So what is visible? क्या दिखता है हमको? What is perceivable? In this is only the input and output. अंदर क्या जा रहा है मशीन के अंदर, मशीन की बाहर क्या आ रहा है, बस वो दो ही दिखता है, मगर मशीन के अंदर क्या चल रहा है वो हमको पता नहीं चल रहा है ना. ऐसे आप इमेजिन कीजिए. So this was the, like, imagine this is the situation of the doctors, TCM doctors, like 1500 or 2000 years back. Okay, they can see inputs which is going into a machine, and they can see outputs which is coming out of the machine, but they can't understand what is happening inside the machine. So now if I have to understand the machine, then what is the options that I have? अगर मेरे को मशीन के अंदर क्या हो रहा है मेरे को दिख नहीं रहा है, मगर मेरे को समझना है मशीन के अंदर क्या हो रहा है, उसको समझना है, तो मैं कैसे समझूंगा? If I'm not able to see the machine inside, but I want to understand the functioning of the machine, right? So 1500 years back, they did not know probably how many things are, all different aspects of the brain, or how many valves are there inside the heart, what all electrical connections are coming to the heart, what all different arteries, etc. All those small dimensions of the body, they would have not known. But they have to understand all of those to solve the problem. So how would they solve it? So this is my question to all of you. मेरे को अंदर पता नहीं है, मेरे को समझना है, तो कैसे मैं समझूंगा? So I want all of you to respond. चलिए सपना जी से मैं पूछूंगा पहले.
सर वो मशीन की एक्टिविटी देखेंगे कैसा चल रहा है, वो उस हिसाब से फिर
एक्टिविटी देखेंगे। अच्छा,
देखकर
और
सर आउटपुट से पता चल जाएगा कि क्या आउटपुट आया है।
अच्छा जी, और हाउ एल्स यू, बोलिए।
सर मशीन की इनसाइड प्रॉपर्टीज और इनसाइड जो उसमें मैकेनिज्म है उससे जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कि व्हाट इज।
मगर देख नहीं सकते, मशीन को देख नहीं सकते हैं, मगर अंदर की फंक्शनिंग को मुझे समझना है। कैसे समझेंगे?
Looking at the
yes, tell me.
By seeing the input and output, we will know what has happened in the machine.
Yes.
So with that, we can define what is this machine is about.
Yes. Good. Okay. So, anybody else has any other ideas they want to share?
I have an idea. So, from our naked eyes itself, or with the binocular or some kind of microscope, we can see the machine from outside itself, and somewhat give a thought about what can happen inside, and also try to know what can be the output before even the output.
Okay, so the only problem that 1500 years back, those people did not have any microscope or telescope or any this thing to see inside the body, right? So they just had the body to see. Okay, so this is what is my thinking. So by seeing the attributes of the input, okay, so something is going inside the machine, I will understand all the attributes of the input, and something is coming out of the machine, and I will see all the attributes and understand all the attributes of the output. So based on the attributes of the input and the attributes of the output, I will make an educated guess of what is happening inside the machine. जो इनपुट जा रहा है उसका सभी एट्रीब्यूट्स में समझने की कोशिश करूंगा, और बाहर जो आउटपुट आ रहा है उसकी सारी एट्रीब्यूट्स में समझने की कोशिश करूंगा, और इन दोनों को मिलाऊंगा, इन दोनों को हिसाब से, इन दोनों की हिसाब को मैच करके देन आई विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड अंदर क्या हो रहा होगा, क्या हो सकता होगा, कि what could be happening inside that machine. I will make an educated guess. ठीक है? So it is not a blind guess. It is an educated guess. So this could be the attribute. So by understanding the attributes of input and output of the machine, the functioning of the machine can be understood. ठीक है? So this is the method of diagnosing the body in TCM. So this is so important. This in TCM, so much emphasis is given on the attributes of input, and so much emphasis is given on the output of the machine. Okay, so going forward, you all should have this in your mindset. In machine के अंदर क्या जा रहा है, machine के बाहर क्या आ रहा है. So machine, if I think, if this human body is a machine, so this is a machine, isn't it? Is it a machine or not? Human body is a machine or not a machine?
Machine.
It is a machine. Right. It is a biodegradable machine. Right. Say if there is a sugarcane crusher, it is made out of natural elements, no? But human bodies, if you अगर मिट्टी के अंदर दफना देंगे, क्या हो जाएगा? शरीर फिर से मिट्टी के साथ मिल जाएगा. So it will biodegradable. But if you put sugarcane crusher, say iron one, So it may take very long time to disintegrate and kind of become something different, get rusted, all those things. It will, but this human body is once again a machine which is easily biodegradable. So that sugar cane crusher's input was sugar cane. So this machine's input is what? So we have food which goes inside the body. We have water which goes inside the body. We have air which we breathe in and which goes inside the body. And these are gross stuff which we can easily understand. But there are many other subtle stuffs. Okay. So before I continue, so we have just 10 minutes left in this meeting. So after the 10 minutes, this meeting will end. So we will rejoin with the same user ID and password without any break as soon as the session ends. Okay. So I was telling these are all the gross inputs. Okay, जो देखने में आता है कि खाना अंदर जा रहा है, पानी अंदर जा रहा है, सांस अंदर जा रहा है, वो सभी हम देख सकते हैं, gross है. There are subtle things also which goes inside the body. For example, gravity. So the gravitational force is influencing the body. है ना? जो हम खाना खाते हैं उसको नीचे की तरफ लेके जाता है gravity. There is a constant and continuous influence of gravitational force on our body. So there is an influence of, say, sunlight. Sunlight is falling. That is also an input, right? Based on the sunlight, your system decides, is it a sleeping time? Is it an awake time? So many aspects of your body is decided based on the light. सूरज की किरण शरीर पे पड़ता है, वो भी एक इनपुट है. उससे कितना बहुत सारे चीज हमारे शरीर के अंदर डिसाइड होती है, कब सोना है, कब उठना है, वो सब किस हिसाब से डिसाइड होती है. वो सूरज की किरणों से होती है, ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स होती है, मून्स इन्फ्लुएंस से देयर इज दैट इज आल्सो एन इनपुट. हाउ वेयर द मून इज देयर, इज इट अ फुल मून, इट्स अ न्यू मून. Say some people who have issues with their minds, okay, brains. So we call them lunatic. No, if it is a Amavas or Purnima, okay, full moon, new moon, their mental state fluctuates. What does it say? The moon has an influence on our body, our mind, to some extent, right? So all of these are subtle inputs. Okay, what I have written here is a gross input. Food, water, air is a gross input. But say sunlight, gravity, influences of different planets, influence of moon, all those kind of subtle aspects. There are many subtle aspects which are input to the human body. And what are the output? So these things go inside. These raw materials or inputs goes inside the human body and it creates the human body. So your human body which is there, जो आपका शरीर है, वो किससे बना है? वो इन्हीं इनपुट तत्वों से बना है. It has been found through the same inputs. And apart from that, there are other outputs, byproducts of the human body. Right? So जैसे गन्ने की मशीन में क्या था, प्रोडक्ट्स, मेन प्रोडक्ट जो था वो जूस था, बाई प्रोडक्ट जो था वो छिलके जैसा जो भी है वो था, राइट? द मेन प्रोडक्ट ऑफ दैट मशीन वाज जूस एंड बाई प्रोडक्ट वाज ऑल द फाइबरस मटेरियल. Similarly, we have also products and byproducts and waste products. Say the main product is body itself, because body is getting created out of that food and all those things. And the body has other outputs, such as, say, saliva is there, okay, mucus which is coming through the different parts of the body. So menstrual fluids are there, sperms, eggs are there, milk is there. So these are all different byproducts of the human body. And similarly, there are some waste products. Okay, you eat the food and you extract the nutrition and the waste is passed out as stool. So stool is a waste product. Urine is a waste product. Sweat, carbon dioxide, all of those which we exhale, all of these things are waste products. Some input is going and the processing is happening, and then we have outputs. So अंदर कुछ जा रहा है, उसका प्रोसेसिंग हो रहा है और बाहर कुछ निकल रहा है. तो मेरे को क्या दिखता है अभी? What is in my hand to observe and feel is only these things, input and output. शरीर के अंदर क्या हो रहा है झांकने की अभी मेरे को कुछ, there are no means to see what is happening inside. So now with this, they started developing the whole philosophy. How? We will take an example. Water intake is one of the inputs to the body, right? If somebody is say there are two people and one person is drinking less water and another person is drinking more water, what could be the method of diagnosis? दो लोग हैं, एक थोड़ा कम पानी पी रहा है, दूसरा थोड़ा ज्यादा पानी पी रहा है. तो अभी उसको डायग्नोसिस के हिसाब से कैसे मैं समझूं? So there are two people, one person is drinking less water and another person is drinking more water. Now you are a therapist 2000 years back. Now how will you diagnose it? What is the kind of analysis that you will be able to do on this situation? Who wants to go first? कौन बताएगा?
सर सर हम जैसे भी उसमें वाटर हमने एज ए इनटेक हम वाटर लेते हैं, तो आउटपुट हमारा जो होता है वाटर रिलेटेड हम यूरिन ले सकते हैं, और स्वेटिंग हम फर्स्ट टाइम हम इसको नोटिस कर सकते हैं कि हाउ मच स्वेटिंग एंड हाउ मच यूरिन पास, फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ यूरिन एंड अमाउंट ऑफ यूरिन ड्यूरिंग द वी आर पासिंग द यूरिन.
ओके, चलिए. और माना ये जनरलाइजेशन हो गया. और थोड़ा एक स्टेप, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी लर्नड सम अमाउंट ऑफ ऑक्यूप्रेशर एंड टीसीएम? लेट मी सी, शो मी हैंड. किन्होंने थोड़ा ऑलरेडी पढ़ा हुआ है? सपना जी पढ़े हैं, और क्या सितारा जी पढ़े हैं, माना रिफ्लेक्सोलॉजी पढ़े हैं वो. विद्या हैज स्टडीड, आई डोंट थिंक शी हैज स्टडीड. उमा जी पढ़े हैं, थोड़ा पढ़े हैं. सैम हैज स्टडीड. सुजाता जी, Radhamani has studied. Sujata ji, you have studied. Balchandar, you have studied. Okay. Can I see the faces of, say, Balchandar, Sujata ji, Sam? I know. Okay. Balchandar ji, I know. Okay. So now, okay. Before I proceed, so far how is it going? Hindi, English, समझ में आ रहा है? Is it understandable?
It's so.
What?
Yes, sir.
सर
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, बोलिए.
सर यदि पानी का इंटेक कम होता है तो बॉडी में हीट बढ़ जाएगी.
हाँ, ओके.
और वो फिर मतलब रैशेस इस टाइप से हीट बढ़ने से
क्या अगर नहीं, क्वेश्चन ये था अगर पानी ज्यादा पीने से क्या होता है, कम पीने से क्या होता है, वो क्वेश्चन नहीं है. कोई व्यक्ति आया है, एक पानी कम पी रहा है, एक ज्यादा पी रहा है, बस उतना ही है डेटा आपके पास, उतना ही है. सो यू हैव ओनली दिस मच डेटा दैट one person is drinking less water and another person is drinking more water. Now you have to do the analysis. How will you do it?
We will ask what kind of problem he is facing. And then we'll correlate that to all kind of inputs. He is taking food, water, and air, and other subtle components, how he is exposed to them.
Okay.
And what is all the output para attributes. And then we will see how water plays a role in this whole thing.
Okay. Fine. The session will end soon. Then we will rejoin and then we will take up this analysis. So I want you to think. Okay. So we will quickly join without any breaks.
Okay.
So another 20 seconds is there. Think and then we will discuss.
सर अगर कोई पानी कम पी रहा है, एक पानी कम पी रहा है, एक पानी ज्यादा पी रहा है, तो मे बी रिक्वायरमेंट उसको कितना, जिसको ज्यादा रिक्वायरमेंट होगी वो ज्यादा इनटेक करेगा मींस, और जो कम ले रहा है तो डेफिनेटली उसको रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है, तो इसलिए शायद वो कम ले रहा है। तो हम इस चीज को भी नोटिस करेंगे कि बॉडी का जो, अगर हम एज ए सेमेस्टर सिस्टम में समझती हूँ तो उसमें कोल्डनेस वाला जो पार्ट हम देखते हैं कि बॉडी में कोल्डनेस है या हीट बढ़ी हुई है, हीट बढ़ी है तो वो वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट उसकी ज्यादा होगी। और
अच्छा, उमा जी कुछ बोल रहे थे। कौन सी सेमेस्टर कंप्लीट किया है आपने उमा जी?
थर्ड सेमेस्टर, आई हैव फिनिश्ड थर्ड।
अच्छा, थर्ड कंप्लीट किया है। ओके जी। तो now this is how the analysis would start. So somebody's requirement is, let us say, क्या? Yes, बोलिए। ओके, अगर आप नहीं, बैकग्राउंड नॉइज नहीं आना चाहिए, अगर आप बोल नहीं रहे तो आप यू म्यूट योरसेल्फ। चलिए, सो वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस। So let's say this is the normal level of the water requirement. तो कोई व्यक्ति आता है और उसका वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट है कम है, यहाँ पे पीता है, और कोई आता है और उसका वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट है ज्यादा पी रहा है. This person is drinking more water and the other person is drinking less water. Right? So this is the situation which is there. Now, as a therapist, your mind should say, probably this person's fire is more inside the body. The body is made out of 5 elements, right? So this person's body, in this person's body, there could be more fire. That is why he is consuming water more to compensate that fire. Right? So that could be one analysis. And this, in this person who is drinking less water, in this person's body, water may be already more. Out of 5 elements, water is also one element, right? So in this person's body, water may be already more, or coldness may be more. So that is why his body doesn't require more water. That is why he is drinking less water. Right? So this could be one analysis. Can it be? क्या ये analysis हो सकता है? कोई ज्यादा पानी पी रहा है, उसका मतलब क्या ये हो सकता है कि उसके अंदर गर्मी ज्यादा बढ़ी है, तो गर्मी को थमाने के लिए वो ज्यादा पानी पी रहा है. और कोई कम पानी पी रहा है क्योंकि उसके अंदर ठंडक ज्यादा हो सकती है. कोल्डनेस में बी मोर इनसाइड हिज बॉडी, या पानी उसके अंदर ऑलरेडी है इसलिए वो कम पानी पी रहा है ना. दिस कुड बी वन एनालिसिस. सो I only took the attribute of the input, but I made an analysis of the machine. Right? The analysis of the machine was the machine's fire is more or the machine's coldness is more. How did I decide this? Based on the attributes of the input. Clear? This much is clear? Yes, no? Say yes, no, something.
Yes, sir.
Clear हो रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So there can be many such analysis that we can do. Okay. This is what you will learn in diagnosis, how to do the analysis. Now we took one example of input. So we will take another example of output. Okay, let us take an example of a stool. So somebody says, okay, we will take two examples. Somebody says there is excess smell, or we will say, we will take the example of constipation and loose motion. Okay, two people come and one person says, I am constipated. Okay. And the other person says there is loose motion. Okay. So now you are a therapist who are like 2000 years back, and now you have to make an analysis. How would you make that analysis? What is the kind of analysis that you can make?
If the food is not digested well, then we can say his fire is less. He is not able to digest well.
Okay. And
if the smell is more, we can say he's got some infection in the body.
Okay.
And if there is if he is constipated, we can say his water level is less.
Okay. And
then if he is having it's painful. Also, we can say his water level is less. His earth intake may have more fire, more usual things like that.
Okay, fine. Others?
Yeah.
What is the kind of analysis that you can do with this data which has been provided? One person is having constipation and another person is having loose motion.
Is again what is the kind of food he has been taking during that issue and for past. Yeah.
What else can be done?
So when the body is very heat, naturally the stool will be very hard and tight. The constipation will be there. So when the cold attacks the stomach or other organs, the cold is more, there will be loose motion.
Okay, fine. Anything else? और कुछ कर सकते हैं उसके अंदर एनालिसिस?
Sir, during the loose motion, we can think the body cannot hold the water. That's why using the water and the stool in the form of loose motion. And if in constipation maybe the heat is more in body, due to that the water is less in stool. And smell said that there is the waste product in our body that is passed out is rotten in. That's why the smelling.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So if the person comes and tells these problems, okay, one is constipated and one is having loose motion. So as a TCM philosopher, 2000 years old, what all option he would have to think is probably constipation means the fluid is less in the body. Okay. So that is why the stool is not soft. If you are trying to make a dough, chapati dough, रोटी का आटा बना रहे हैं, तो अगर पानी कम डाला है तो क्या होगा? वो कड़क बनेगा, है ना? आटा कड़क बनेगा. If you have put less water in the dough, it will be hard. The dough will be hard. तो ये एक हो सकता है कि शरीर के अंदर पानी कम हो सकती है, इसलिए stool hard है, constipation है. The water inside the body may be less. That is why the person's stool may be hard. The second question would be, why that person's water has become less? So we will have to see this also. Probably if so now the water is less. Why is the water less? Probably the fire is more. If the fire is more, it will evaporate all the water. Right? That is also another option. The fire is more, it is evaporating the water. Hence, the stool is becoming hard. गर्मी ज्यादा है और वो गर्मी जो है पानी को सुखा रहा है, इसलिए स्टूल हार्ड है. ये भी एक एनालिसिस हो सकती है ना? तो I have two options now. Either the water is less in the machine, or okay, I with this information I made an analysis. Water could be less in the machine, or fire could be more in the machine. If there is a loose motion क्या हो रहा है? So because now probably there is excess water, watery हो रहा है, or probably it is something which the body doesn't need. That is why body is throwing it out. Right? Loose motion is बार-बार कोई जा रहा है. If there somebody is passing motion very frequently, what could be the meaning? That body doesn't want that content inside the body, so it is throwing it out. Right? So it could be a possibility that there could be some kind of food poisoning or some kind of some form of unwanted stuff is there inside that food and body is trying to throw it out. That could be also one analysis, right? Or there could be more water, or the body is not able to hold the stool well. The large intestines holding ability may be less. So these kind of different analysis can be done based on what we saw, the just one aspect of the waste. And we did lot of analysis using this as a basis. We started making an analysis of the machine, right? Now, so many different attributes you can start asking about the stool. Okay, is it well formed? So, or it is loose. No, the shape is not, it is semi-solid kind of shape. Or if there is any undigested food, or the food is well digested, what is the color of the stool? If there is excess smell or no smell, or is there any burning sensation, or is it painful? Is it painful before passing the before defecation or after defecation? There are so many like motion के पहले दर्द होता है या motion के बाद दर्द होता है, मोशन करते वक्त दर्द होता है या मोशन करते वक्त जलन होती है, उसके ज्यादा स्मेल है या स्मेल ही नहीं है, स्टूल्स की क्या कलर है वगैरह वगैरह. There are so many different attributes I can collect from stool. I can ask the patient, and each of these tell me something of the machine, and I, based on that information, I make a educated guess about the state of the functioning of the machine, right? So you are able to understand this? Okay, say yes, no, please. Respond.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Acha. Okay. Sam, sir, clear?
Yes, sir. It's very clear, sir. Thank you.
Acha. Okay. So now this is our tools that we have. There is input. I collect all the attributes. There are different outputs. I collect all the attributes and then club it and make an analysis of what is happening in the machine. And this is what the TCM people were doing 2000 years back. Now, in modern day world, we have given all kind of labels to a disease. Say we say high BP, low BP, there is diabetes. So no, somebody has this problem, somebody has that problem. There are different Western names given to it. But 2000 years back, there was no such kind of nomenclatures. कुछ labels नहीं था उस time पे. Diabetes करके या high BP, low BP वगैरह करके कुछ नहीं था. So how would they analyze? So imagine some person with diabetes would come and they will ask for all the symptoms. क्या हो रहा है अंदर? आपके अंदर क्या हो रहा है? So the person would say, there could be बहुत थकावट हो रही है. There is a lot of fatigue. So the person may say, बहुत प्यास है. There is a lot of increased thirst. कोई कह सकता है बहुत हंगर है, भूख ज्यादा लगती है. Somebody can say भूख ही नहीं लगती है. Somebody can say excess urination. And somebody can say there is a lot of smell in urination. Somebody can say there is loss of weight. So all of these are symptoms. Okay. And what these TCM people used to treat is, which one would they treat? Which is on the left side or which is there on the right side?
Right side.
Right. So the TCM people would not treat diabetes. They will treat all the symptoms. Okay. They will try to do an analysis why your hunger is not happening, why you are drinking more water, why you are passing excess urination, all those, or why you are getting tired. So that kind of analysis they will do and treat the symptoms. Okay. And that is why anytime a patient comes to you, you should not get into the trap of getting off any name tags. Okay. Whenever some patient comes to you, you should always collect all the symptoms, right? Because in TCM, the diabetes can be caused because of multiple reasons. It is not just one reason or another reason, right? So you will not have, so if there are 3 people who come for diabetes, you may give 3 different kinds of treatment and all the 3 different people will get cured, because the root cause of the problem would be different for each person. And you will understand the root cause only when you analyze the problem, analyze the symptoms properly, right? So no, you should never make this mistake going forward by asking some senior therapist or some professor that please give me a protocol for diabetes. This is totally wrong, because diabetes can be caused by so many different reasons. You have to understand the reason and give a treatment. Only then you will have proper success ratio. If you do the blind business of take one protocol and apply it to everyone without doing a finer analysis, then it will be a kind of hit and miss. Sometimes by chance it may work for someone it may not work, and we will become happy. Okay, out of 10, 2-3 people got cured, but 7-8 people did not get cured, and they will tell that okay, this acupressure is of no use. Okay, I took the treatment here, I took the treatment there, but it did not work. So what happens? The science, whatever the science is supposed to flourish and benefit the mankind, that will not happen. Why would it not happen? It is because of the lack of application of mind of the therapist. Science is correct, but the therapist is not applying the principles properly, right? Make sense? अगर आप ट्रीटमेंट दे रहे हैं और आपकी इलाज नहीं हो रही है, तो प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे है? प्रॉब्लम शायद mostly that the person who is diagnosing is not doing properly, right? So in TCM, we treat the symptoms and we don't treat the disease. Once the symptoms are treated, the disease will be taken care by itself. So in any of the protocols, you will never see a treatment for diabetes, a treatment for high BP, a treatment for low BP, a treatment for some other cause, constipation. No, the language used in TCM is totally different. They say humid heat in liver, humid heat in large intestine, spleen key deficiency, spleen yang deficiency, heart fire blazing. So this is the language of TCM. And the language of Western medicine is, there is hypertension, high BP, high insomnia, all these labeling is of Western medicine. So we never say insomnia, we say heart blood deficiency, liver blood deficiency. This is the language of TCM. You should become very proficient in the TCM language. आपको TCM की शब्दावली बहुत अच्छी तरह से आनी चाहिए. You should not get stuck in the nomenclatures of Western medicine. Okay, you should be very, very fluent. You can tell when you use a lot of these vocabulary of TCM in your discussion. When you use this, then you can understand you are moving towards becoming a good therapist. Say if two therapists come, meet each other. And what is the kind of discussion they have? Okay, one therapist say, see, this person's humid heat in liver and gallbladder was more. So I try to reduce the humid heat. Okay, I try to reduce the humid heat from lower warmer. So I transferred humid heat from middle warmer to lower warmer. So the fire was more in the heart, or the heat is more in the large intestine. So there is excess key in small intestine. So if this is the way that you discuss between therapists, then you can gauge that you are moving towards becoming a good therapist. If your discussion is like this person has a lot of constipation. Okay, so I don't know, I stimulated large intestine, but the constipation is not going. Okay, I treated the stomach, but still constipation is not going. So if your discussion is like this, then you are average or below average kind of a therapist. Making sense?
Yes, sir.
So you should improve. Automatically it will improve. Once your understanding becomes solid, then you will use those kind of vocabulary in describing the problem itself. And you will use lot of refined language in describing the solution also, right? तो ऐसी आपकी भाषा होगी जो आप ये वर्ड्स जो है वो TCM की वर्ड्स आप बहुत यूज करेंगे, और जो अदर नॉर्मल जो वर्ड्स होती है ना वेस्टर्न की, वो आप कम और बहुत कम इस्तेमाल करने लगेंगे, और तब आपकी पहचान होगी कि आपने कुछ पाया है इस थेरेपी में. तो कैसे वो ट्रीट करते हैं और डायग्नाइज कैसे करते थे? तो इट इज बेस्ड ऑन सिम्टम्स. जो भी बताता था, पेशेंट बताता मेरे को नींद नहीं आती है, मेरे को भूख ज्यादा लगती है, मेरे को भूख ही नहीं लगती है, खाने से पेट फूलता है, जो भी सिम्टम्स बोलते हैं, whatever the problems that the symptoms they say the patient, so that is one aspect, mode of diagnosis. And you understand the attributes of body input. So you have to ask all these questions. कितना पानी पीते हैं, कैसे पीते हैं, कितना खाना खाते हैं, कब खाते हैं, भूख लगती है नहीं लगती है, तो all of these aspects. So how much is your hunger, how much is you feel hungry, you don't feel hungry, what kind of taste you like, what kind of water you drink, you'd like to drink warm water, you'd like to drink cold water, you like to drink room temperature, you drink sip by sip, you try to gulp. All of these attributes of inputs you have to take, and you have to take all the attributes of output of the body in terms of urine, in terms of stool, in terms of menses flow, all of these aspects of the sleep pattern you have to take, and you have to take the emotional state, what is the likes and dislike, what is the kind of color they like, what is the color they dislike, what is the taste they like, what is the smell they dislike. all of these aspects you have to take into consideration. Okay, if they have more fear, they have more anxiety, and you have to observe the body. Okay, is the body thin? Is the body plumpy? Okay, all those attributes of the body you will have to take into consideration. Then you have to notice the tongue. What is the tongue telling? Okay, so you have to take into account the pulse. What is the pulse telling? So, etc. Okay, all of these aspects you have to take into consideration and then make a diagnosis, right? So see, like as soon as somebody asks for diabetes, tell me the protocol. High BP, tell me a protocol. What can you do? You can't give anything because none of these you have taken into consideration. So after considering so many aspects, then you come to a proper diagnosis. This is a sign of a good therapist. So you don't do a hodgepodge job. Okay, you take one bit here, one bit there, and then say, okay, you apply this, you apply this. No, you don't do all those kind of shortcut business. You do a thorough business, thorough investigation, thorough diagnosis. Okay, and then what is the modes of treatment? Okay, the modes of treatment in TCM is either you do acupuncture, it is through needles, or you do acupressure. Okay, you give pressure through different means, or you use magnets, or you use seeds, or you use some colors. So these are different ways. Okay, and then they, in proper Chinese TCM, they also train the therapists on Chinese herbs. So just like we have in our Ayurveda, we have different herbs that we use to treat or bring balance of the energy. So even in Chinese methodology, there are different herbs that is prescribed, and they prescribe exercises like Qigong, etc., and moxibustion. So it is providing heat to different parts of the body. So these are all the different methodologies or modes of treating a problem. But here we will only concentrate on acupressure. So we will not go into acupuncture. The basis of acupuncture and acupressure is the same. Okay, the principles of diagnosis is the same. Everything is the same, but in acupuncture, you use a needle to balance it. In acupressure, you use a magnet to balance it. That is the only difference, right? Or you use a pressure to balance it. So, but all the principles, all the diagnosis methodology is just exactly the same. So we will not go into the herbs, exercise and moxibustion. We will not use. Okay, we will mainly concentrate on acupressure. Why acupressure? Why not acupuncture? Is there are some pros and cons. In acupuncture, you have to go to the therapist daily. Okay, right? Acupuncture में जाएंगे तो रोज थेरेपिस्ट के पास ही जाना पड़ेगा. खुद नीडलिंग नहीं कर पाएंगे. पीछे वगैरह नीडलिंग करना बहुत मुश्किल है. So you have to visit the therapist every day, and that is an expense, and people don't like it. But when it comes to acupressure, all of it is provided on the correspondence, Biol correspondence. Everything, the treatment is given in the hand itself. Okay, front of the hand and back of the hand, by and large. So the patient can do himself or herself in the home. So the patient need not visit the therapist daily. Okay, that is one very big benefit. Okay, and in acupuncture, probably it is say more effective, and acupressure may be 5%, 10% less effective than acupuncture, but it has lot of benefit. Okay, so if your therapist stays 10 kilometers away, you have to travel, you have to pay the therapist, you have to come back, you have to give time. All of those problems, okay, you will become free of all those problems for a compromise of 5% or 10% efficiency, right? So these are all the different benefits of acupressure. pressure. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left in our discussion. So before I go to the other topics, I just want to take questions from you. So any questions on today's discussions that we had? Did you all enjoy the class?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Achha.
Sir,
Yes.
one question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, nowadays the therapists, they are using different electronics apparatuses.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hello. Sir, I am unable to hear you. Sam, sir. Hello. Okay, while Sam, sir comes back, we can take somebody else's question. Anybody else has any other question?
Sir, in the modes of TCM diagnostics,
Mm-hmm.
You have talked about pulse. You have talked about like tongue, pulse, and all, no?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is pulse we are talking about?
Pulse is, you see the pulse of a patient, that pulse. Okay, pulse diagnosis, that is the method, Nadi Shastra, what we call in traditional Indian methodology. So that it is that one.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm. Any other question? Hemlata ji has unmuted herself. Did you have a question?
No, sir.
No. So Daniel, sir, you are back. He'll probably rejoin. Okay, so give me a feedback. What did you like? What did you not like? Anything to improve in the class? Was it something very new, the way that you understood TCM?
Not exactly new, sir, because some part of the discussion we used to have in reflexology classes also. Mm-hmm. Like some therapists from different sectors, like homeopathy, or even for discussing about 5 elements, all that they had given a very brief overview, or we have an abstract knowledge, I can say. Mm-hmm. So today's class was good, and some part of it we heard it before in our class.
Okay. Fine. And Chavi madam is asking, what is the syllabus? I will send you the syllabus. So just
this class is this is one thing I really like about this is like when you talked about
yes. I could not hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. In my place, it's a very heavy rain, sir.
Okay, no problem. Tell me your question.
So no question, sir.
Yeah, you were telling that electrical stimulation, no? What is that?
Yeah, sir. That's what I was asking. Immediately, my net connection was cut.
Okay.
Now I joined through my phone, sir.
Yeah. So what was your question?
So that's the thing, sir. You told me, no, sir.
Okay, so what
using
they do is
electrical.
Okay, I'll tell you. I don't know too much about that, but I'll give you some basic understanding. Say when you put a needle, what happens is the needle is supposed to absorb the energy from the cosmos and pass it into the meridian, right? So you take it from the cosmos and you make the energy flow into the meridian, and from meridian it will flow inside the body, go into the organ, etc. Right? That is the main fundamentals. Now, along with that, they also stimulate, give some amount of electrical current. So that also goes in through the meridian. So it could be the way of giving more stimulation to the meridian through electricity. So that is what I can understand. I don't know too many deeper stuff about it. So it is basically they are stimulating through electricity, just like we are stimulating it through magnetic field, right? So they may be using electricity to stimulate it. Clear?
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Krishnamurthy, my understanding was added to that. There is one more thing. Almost many parts of our body has kind of a tube-like structure. So there is an energy blockage which is creating the disease. So through the electricity, we are trying to remove this energy blockage.
Could be. See, I don't know. I don't know all the because I am not trained in acupuncture. I'm trained in acupressure. So yes, could be the reason. I don't know. So Chavi madam, you got your information. You are looking for syllabus. So this is the syllabus.
What is it in the next slide? It's also continuation.
Yeah, it is a continuation of 5 elements. I was thinking I will start this 5 elements tomorrow. Okay, generally, yes.
No, sir. My doubt was you in the syllabus slide. You had 2 slides in syllabus.
No. That was for tongue diagnosis.
Oh, okay.
Another class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is something called tongue diagnosis also, separate study.
Yeah, so I'm taking that class is also going on parallelly. It happens on Thursdays.
Okay.
This happened on Monday and Tuesday. But for you to understand that, you should have a good grip of few things of TCM, like the different patterns, etc. So without that, it will not be of use because it will be difficult to grasp it. Okay. So for today, I will end the session here. But generally, in all my previous classes, the proportion of class and discussion used to be almost 50-50. Right? So half the time I used to teach and half the time I used to be bombarded with all kinds of questions. And I expect the same thing with all of you. The questioning is very low in this class. Think more about the subject. Be more curious, develop curiosity. So ask all kinds of questions. That there is no boundaries. Okay, only this is what you have to ask. Okay, we will. The only request is all the questions should be conceptual. It should not be based on disease. Okay, if this is a problem, what should I give? What point should I give? No, that we'll not have that discussion now. We will try to have a lot of discussion about the concepts. Why this way? Why not that way? All those concepts you can have discussion. So tomorrow we will meet once again at 7 o'clock, and we